What's up, guys? Nikko coming at you from the hunt. Thanks for joining us today. Exciting news. You read the title, we know why you're here. Rifle hunting is here in Illinois, so stick around. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of this new regulation, how it might affect deer season, and what you need to do about it. Give us a minute. We're going to roll that intro. Alright, guys, so this bill's been signed. Pritzker's passed it. It's going to start in 2023, so there's nothing we need to worry about this year as far as deer season goes, but next year there are some ins and outs we need to take into consideration. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read what they have changed in the laws, so we can go ahead and get like a base understanding of it, and then I'll go into some specifics I got here for you. So, this new law replaces everything in the current law after the clauses, amends the Wildlife Code, defines centerfire and single shot, allows a person to take deer with a single shot centerfire rifle during the open season set by the Director of Natural Resources, limits legal handguns and rifles to centerfire guns that are either single shot or revolvers, and centerfire rifles that are single shots. Limits legal ammunition to a centerfire handgun or rifle with a bottleneck centerfire cartridge of 30 caliber or larger, with a case length not exceeding 1 2/5 inches. That's 1.4. Or a straight-walled centerfire cartridge of 30 caliber or larger, both of which must have available as a factory load with the published ballistic tables of the manufacturer showing the capability of at least 500 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. Must provide that, or it provides that it is unlawful while deer hunting to possess or be in approximation to a rifle that is not centerfire, or in the possession or close proximity to a magazine that is capable of making a rifle not single shot. So what we have to take away from that is you can't have your AR in your truck. If you're out hunting, and I would probably not have anything other than that one gun you're hunting with. That's kind of a gray area because it's in proximity to. What is proximity? That's kind of a gray area. Was it within arm's reach or what? We probably don't want to mess around with that. The big thing we need to take into consideration and take away from this is that yes, you're going to finally be able to shoot rifles here in Illinois at all them beautiful whitetail that we have. But we need to understand that we're limited to case lengths on bottleneck cartridges of 1.4 inches. That's what you're going to find. You're not going to find 2/5 inches in any guide on any loading tables, any books or anything. It's going to be 1.4 inches or less. Really, that's going to leave us in that 300 blackout range. 300 blackout is not a straight wall cartridge. There is one 7.62 that does fall into that. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I know it's a Wildcat cartridge. It's not really prevalent in America. I don't even think it's a European round. I think it might be like a Russian round or a German round or something. I'm not sure. But there is a 7.62, so if you guys can think of it, let me know down in the comments what that other round is that falls into that less than 1.4 inches for a bottleneck cartridge that is 30 caliber and 1.4 inches or less, because that is just a very specific range to stick into. But I did come up with a few rounds that I think are going to be really popular that you guys might want to take into consideration. The first one's going to be the 357 Magnum. There's a lot of options as far as round choices in that. It's a very popular handgun. I've got one. I love it. And putting it into a rifle, like a single shot rifle, is just going to make it that much better and totally able to kill a whitetail out to like 50, 75 yards. I don't think you're going to have any problem with that. The second one is going to be the new kid on the block, and that is the 350 Legend. It's essentially a 223 with the shoulders blown out of it. And when you really get down to it, it's a 357 Magnum. you can go from about 120 grains up to 280 grain options. It's going to produce well over 1,200 foot-pounds of pressure at the muzzle. You're still going to be having that, out to probably about 100, 125, maybe 130 yards, depending on your rifle and what ammunition you're using. Definitely is going to be a solid option for anybody that's looking for a round on the smaller segment, but it was designed for deer hunting in specific occasions like Illinois, where you can only use straight wall. The next one up is going to be the 44 Magnum. That is the big brother to the 357. Not always a lot of fun to shoot in handgun formation. I've shot quite a few, and the bigger and heavier the gun, the better. It has been a go-to for years, though, for handgun hunters here in Illinois to shoot their deer with. But I believe that having the option to put this in as a rifle round, it just makes that round so much more viable. It's going to be really fun to shoot, and I think that's going to be a go-to for a lot of older gentlemen that are getting their youth, say grandparents that are getting younger children into hunting and stuff like that. I think that's a very, very viable option because it's got great ballistics, it's got great killing power, probably already have some of the ammunition on hand, and whenever you're moving that round into a rifle configuration, you're getting rid of almost all of that recoil. It's going to be really enjoyable to shoot. So I expect to see that round going pretty far. Next one up is the 444 Marlin, which is the 44 Mag's big brother. It's kind of the 350 Legend to the 44 Mag. You're looking at an average of a 250 gram projectile with 2,300 foot-pounds of force at the muzzle. It is a devastator. It was made for deer hunting. It is a little bit older round. When it came out, it didn't get a whole lot of love because we started seeing more smaller bottleneck cartridges and greater, better propellants than that for those smaller cartridges, producing more foot-pounds of energy. So you had smaller rounds with more killing power at longer distances with less recoil. So the 44 Marlin kind of fell off to the side. But with these new regulations in a lot of states that are allowing straight wall cartridges, that's going to bring the 44 Marlin back into the spotlight, I believe. It's becoming real popular, and in 2019 they actually came out with new load tables with new powders, with the polymer tips and all that, the AccuTips. So I really expect to see that being a pretty good round coming into this next deer season. The next one up is going to be the 450 Bushmaster. It's another one of them old rounds. It was made for deer hunting, but it fell to the wayside when the AR-15 came out, only because though the round was made for the AR platform initially, the 5.56 and 2.23 were just so much cheaper to shoot. They were already super prevalent, and not a lot of manufacturers got behind the idea of the 450 Bushmaster. That being said, it's pushing a 250 grain pill at 2,200 foot-pounds of force at the muzzle, so well in that killing range. It is a solid choice. I think we're going to see a lot of those for guys that are wanting to shoot something closer to. It's going to be pretty close to like a 40 or 44. Shoot something close to like a 410 slug size. It's a little bit longer, bit heavier, a lot faster. So for those guys that were wanting to shoot a 410 slug for deer season, this is your option right here. That 450 Bushmaster. It's going to fill that slot. It's going to fill that need, and it is a great option. Now, we're going to look on to there's two rounds that I'm going to want to look at, and that is the 4570 Government, or even maybe the 7090. I don't know. We'll see how crazy I want to get. But the 4570 Government, older round, the 4570 Government is just a monarch. It is a classic. It has been around. It's going to be around. You can hard cast lead pills yourself at home. It is just a super viable round. Now, it has got some updating in the past years. Again, in 2019, Barnes started making a TSX version, which I believe is that one of those polymer tips, controlled expansion, all that good stuff. It is a 300 grain pill pushing 3,500 foot-pounds of pressure at the muzzle. That is outstanding, and it will kill anything with four legs. There's nothing that's going to stand up to that with proper shot placement. It's going to die. This is going to be getting into that range of straight wall cartridges that are going to be taking deer at longer ranges. So if you're one of those guys that were, you love your .6, you love your 270 Win, 300 Win mag, what have you, you want that same distance capabilities, but we can't shoot centerfire bottlenecks here in Illinois that are going to be capable of that. This is going to be where you're going to start looking into these bigger, a lot more recoil guns like the 45-70 and the 70-90. And then the big boy that's going to be on the block, I think, is we might see some 454 Casuls. Not a fun gun to shoot with a shorter barrel. You're really going to want to up the length of your barrel. Single shot, I think, is just going to increase the accuracy. It's not a hyper accurate round, but it is a brush stomper. It doesn't matter. Nothing's going to stop that round coming at you. So those are just a few of the rounds that I think are going to be a little more prevalent. We'll probably start seeing more of them in the local gun shops and that. So that's what I think about that. Now, as far as changing in tag allotments and stuff like that, I don't think we're going to see it. The way that it's proposed is pretty much, it's just an option. The rifle is just going to be an option right alongside your shotgun, right alongside your handgun. I don't think they're going to change the amount of tags. I don't think the price of tags are going to change. It doesn't look like anything's going to change. You're just going to have more options when you go to pick out your means of take, which personally I think is great. It's going to be able to get more people into hunting. I have seen a lot of people talking about we're going to see a lot of wounded animals or people taking shots that are too long and all this, and people already wound animals. It's the ugly side of hunting. Animals will get wounded. People take long shots. I think that a lot of what we're going to see is the individuals that are shooting these rifles, you're extending the proficiency range with a smaller curve because you don't have as much bullet drop with these rifles, and when they do hit, they're hitting with more energy at ranges past like 50 yards than most of your slugs coming out of your shotgun, and definitely more than your handguns. So I think if anything is going to help out, we're going to see less deer wounded. So we'll actually have less deer killed, because when you wound a deer, especially in Illinois, I don't know many people that punch their tag. They hit the deer, they say I couldn't find it, they still got their tag in their pocket, they go on to the next one. So I think we're going to see more deer die, or in the sense of recoveries, but we're going to see less deer die in the sense of shot, not recovered, and somebody goes on to hunt more. So I actually think this is going to be really good for the deer population. I think it's going to be an effective means to maybe reclaim some of that land that we have lost for CWD, where they come in, they say, we're going to shoot X amount of deer at the end of the year after everybody else is gone. We're going to shoot X amount of deer with rifles over corn piles, and this is a CWD effort. I think that this could be a step towards allowing the native hunters to come in, take those CWD deer, fill those quotas, and then the state not have to pay those other guys to come in, whoever it be, whether it be the DNR or if it is a paid contract, which they spend a lot of money on that. If you guys want to have a video on just all the down and dirty of the CWD stuff, let me know. We could definitely take a deep dive into that, because you guys would be surprised. But I personally will be getting a rifle. I will be hunting this because it's going to be a blast. I'm super excited. There might be a little bit more, might be a little bit harder to get your draw tags for the first year or two, just out of the sheer excitement of people wanting to shoot deer with a rifle. Other than that, I think this is going to be really good for the state. I really do. Like I said, it's not changing tags. It's not changing anything other than what you can shoot them with during the already pre-made seasons. So, if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, let me know down in the comments. Let me know where I'm wrong. Let me know where I'm right. Let me know what you guys want to talk about more. Until next time, I'm a Nomad. Thanks for joining us on the hunt.